Everyone, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to Valerie's channel. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. My name is Valerie. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, season 8, episode 37. Just a quick disclaimer. I always try and give my opinion on the participants on the shows that I comment on based on what I see. I try not to sort of uh, go looking, into their social media accounts or commenting or making, there's some people who make some really heartbreaking comments on these people's social media accounts, and I try not to do that. And I always try and make sure that whatever review I give is based on the episode that I've watched, and I try not to say anything that is harmful. I know this episode touched on mental health, and I'll try and be sensitive about it, but I have to give my honest opinion. I'm sorry, I really do have to give my honest opinion. And it is what it is. Anyway, I'll review the couples and then I'll finish off with with sort of Paige, Jax, and maybe bits of Adam and Gemma. Just because I think that's the best way for me. I'll talk about everybody else and we'll see how it goes. My opinion still remains the same. I've always said this, that I think there's favoritism in how this show is edited, in the sense that this episode was very Jax heavy, in the sense that three-quarters of the show was spent on Jax. And yet we have people like China and Jay who went yesterday, and we barely saw anything of them. If anything, we only heard China speak less than 5 minutes of the when they were about to walk out of the villa. So for me, I don't get that, and I don't think it's fair. If they know someone is going home, let them focus on that person and give that person as much publicity as they can, the same way they did with Jax, instead of just showing a few seconds here and a few seconds there, and then highlight somebody else, to get as much publicity or whatever that they can get before they leave. Anyway, here we go. So with Billy and Tash, they're still in this friendship relationship. Although Tash was sort of confiding in Billy in bed, and I don't know, she was saying something to the effect that she's worried that Andrew's going to hurt her again. I think Tash wants to play both sides of the fence. I think she thought if she told Billy she wanted him to to friend zone him, he would wait for her to make a decision on Andrew. And instead, he looks like he's moving on and he's trying to create connections with other people. And I think this is why she's sort of trying to pull him in, just in case things don't work out with Andrew, the same way she's always used Andrew. And I don't think it's going to work with Billy actually. With Andrew and Coco, we barely saw them. The interesting thing was because Dami and Andrew are sleeping outside. They had a conversation. They made out with the girls before with India and Tash before they went to bed, and then they had the conversation where they decided to make the girls breakfast. And so Andrew, Tash, Dami, and India had breakfast, and Tash seemed really impressed. And surprisingly, although the night before Tash was confiding in Billy, she didn't bring up her concerns to Andrew, or we didn't get to see anything. So that was interesting. Um, and I think at recoupling, if nothing else, I think Tash is going to go with Andrew. I think she'd rather be safe than sorry. Um, that's just my opinion. And then Josh, we saw him having conversations with Summer, but we didn't get to hear what they were talking about. We really didn't see Josh and Danica together, apart from when they were in bed. Although we saw Danica having a conversation with Adam, and Adam said, Danica was one of his two. So he said he was more interested. He found he was having better connections with Danica and also with Paige. And I think now with Jax leaving, Paige is going to feel so guilty that she's going to stay clear of Adam. And then with Luca and Gemma, always Luca and Gemma. I don't get the hype for Luca and Gemma. I really don't. I think it's just them wanting to win the show. I don't get what's interesting about them. I don't see them having conversations. You just see them making out, or you just see them sitting there all the time. Davide seems to be moving on since Jay's left. He and Ekin-su, he thinks they're in a better place. They did go under their duvet, so only them and their duvet know what they were doing underneath there. I think David was saying he's in a better place with in the morning when they were having a sort of a debriefing, he was saying he's in a better place with Ekin-su. He did find out that Ekin-su went on the terrace with Adam because Adam said so, but I don't think he was that worried because Adam said, we're more. She was asking me about your relationship and what I think of your relationship, and I told you it's more friendship. So um, that then leaves Demi, so Deji. Deji, we rarely saw him with India. We did see them in bed. In the last episode, we did see them chatting, but I don't know what's going on with Deji, whether he's trying to create connections with other people or he's just waiting for things to explode between India and Demi and then he'll step in. I wish he could try and look for connections with other people. That way, at recoupling, it's easier for him. Even Danica, I wish she had made an effort with Danica, or maybe he's just thought, oh well, she said I'm not the type, and that's it. And then so this episode was very heavy centered on Jax, and for me, I've always said that I think Paige, if nothing else, needs to have a conversation with Gemma and find out why Gemma and Jax broke up and find out what sort of boyfriend he was when they were dating. I know exes will always not have nice things to say about one another, but I would hope Gemma seems very outspoken. I would hope she'd warn Paige. So I think the problem is Paige sort of Gemma stirred the pot when she told um, Jax that Adam had said that Jax lacks the maturity to sort of deal with things and is going to struggle when he leaves the villa. And Jax got hot and bothered about that, and immediately, instead of going to confront Adam, he ran to confront Paige, and Paige was busy chatting with Billy. I think what upset Jax was the fact that Paige was having conversations with Adam and also seemed to be having a great time with Billy, and he didn't like that because these were two people. It's not like when it was Jay and he could just sort of manage that situation with Jay. These were two totally different people that he knew that had better qualities than him, and he didn't stand a chance. I think he had the same issue that Liam had when Gemma moved on from Liam to Davide, then from Davide to Luca, and Liam realized there was no way he could compete with the other two guys, so he left. And I think this is the same thing that's happened to Jax because I personally, I don't get why he went and threw a tantrum in front of Paige, and he was very rude towards Billy. Billy didn't deserve to be spoken like that, and I think he apologized. I don't quite remember, but I think he should have actually sincerely apologized to Billy because Billy didn't deserve to be spoken in that manner. So he tried to sort of Gemma wound him up and made sure that he was primed and ready to explode. And then off he went to Paige. And when Paige didn't sort of um, um, eat up or sort of appear to give him the responses he wanted, that's when he walked off and went to the boys. And Deji and Josh were sort of they were they didn't know what had transpired until he told them. And if Jack had such a big problem with what Adam said, you should have gone directly to to Adam instead of going around to other people and sort of blowing off steam to everybody else except the person. And when Adam walked across through to him, he didn't say anything. He just sat there and he was making sarcastic remarks. And so for me, I think he realized that he used after he exploded to Paige, I think he realized that, oh my God, I've blown it. It's taken me a long time to be in Paige's good books. All the excuses he had in regards getting sympathy from Paige, and and I think he knew that it was going to be difficult for him to get Paige to accept whatever he was saying. So then he started um, going around to everybody to try. I think if Luca was such a good friend, as soon as Jax started blowing up after speaking to Gemma, he should have stood up and tried to contain his friend. Or when he heard his friend popping off at Paige, he should have gone there to try and diffuse the situation. But instead, he left him. And um, by the time Luca tried to sort of intervene, I think it was too late. And I think even if Luca spoke to him, I think he realized that he had taken he there was no way he could come back from how far he had gone. And so yes, he he might have, I don't know his mental health status, I don't know his mental health history, so I don't know. I don't want to say he was faking it, but I think it was more he was embarrassed. One, he knew there was no way he could get Gemma, sort of Paige, to forgive him, and he decided to use emotional blackmail in the sense that he he started telling her, I can't tell you I love you, but he was he tried to sort of hold her down emotionally by trying to let her know that I will be waiting for you. If that's the case, why not take her with you? Because what's the point of her staying in Love Island? Because Love Island is about forming connections. If she stays in Love Island, what do you expect her not to connect with anybody else and just sit there and wait for elimination so that she can come to you? I'll pick you up from the airport. I'll do this. I think that was the emotional blackmail, and this is why Samuel said, Jax knows you love him more than he does, and he's going to. That's why he's able to sort of manipulate you or go about in ways that he's able to control you and contain you. And this is just my opinion. He might have a mental health disorder that he realized that he was being triggered by whatever was going on. But I think his behavior was the reason why he left, and not his mental health. I think the fact that he was worried that he would never be able to get Gemma back was the reason he left. I think the fact that he was embarrassed by the way he behaved is the reason why he left. And I also think the fact that he was worried that Gemma, sort of Paige, was going to either connect with Billy or Adam is the reason why he left. And that, to summarize all that, that is the reason why he told her, I can't say I love you, but you know how I feel. Because he tried to cover his mic to tell her whatever he wanted to say. And I think the producers told him, no, you cannot cover your mic, remove your hand from the mic. And he made sure he more or less told her, "You're my girlfriend. I love you, and you can't see anybody else." Which doesn't make sense to me if she's going to stay on Love Island. If that's the case, if she's your girl and you're committed to her, and this is it, and she feels the same way about you, why not the two of you leave together? Why is she staying behind? What does she hope to achieve? And I think this is why he played up the mental health aspect so that he could get sympathy from the audience and then leave. Because Jack's behavior was telling on Gemma's face, because you could see Gemma wasn't phased by it. Gemma wasn't phased. And I think to Gemma, this is normal for Jax to behave in this way. That's why she didn't panic or didn't seem really bothered. Paige, yes, was in a relationship with him, so she had the right to be upset. But Gemma didn't seem phased by it. And you would think they are friends. Yes, they are not in a relationship anymore, but at least she would be concerned about her ex and the fact that, he's going through a lot. And the reason why he ended up on the show was because she was on the show, but she didn't seem phased. It seemed Luca and Paige were more upset than Gemma was. Yes, she can't be crying and whatever, but at least she should try at least to have a conversation with him. But we didn't see that. And so I don't get it. And I have to guess that this is where you see how, if nothing else, if I can plead on behalf of a participant, I would like to say the show owes Danica a lot more publicity than they're giving her, because Danica has been through way more than these guys. She's faced rejection from Lucas, she's faced rejection from Jax, she's faced rejection from Jay, she's faced the girls uh, going against her and being against her because she was selected to stay when Antigone went home. And every time she's been knocked out, she's dusted herself up and she's got up and she's kept going. If anyone had the right, or anybody should have been the first person to leave, Danica should have been the first person to leave. But she continues to stay. She continues to put on a brave face and dust herself. Every time she's knocked up, she gets up. She keeps going. And yet, Jax created all this mess, caused all these problems himself, and then leaves crying, saying, I have to go and look after my mental health. Okay, I don't know. It is what it is. I cannot judge him because with mental health, it's not something that's visible that you can see that, oh yes, his mental health is really bad. But I think part of it was his mental health, but the other part was him as a person, and it's a lot of red flags for anyone to deal with. It's a lot of red flags. Paige has to do a lot of self-reflection if she's going to get into a relationship with him long term. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye everyone.